Welcome back to Fashion Riley with me. I'm Riley. I'm super excited for today's video. We're going to talk about McQueen Autumn Winter 2006 show titled The Widows of Culloden. So pretty exciting. Today I have a nice little wine glass with a beverage, a green apple flavored beverage inside of it. Had a little bit of a chaotic past 30 minutes. I was trying to turn on this little light here, and I accidentally dropped it and shattered the light bulb all over like this area here where I'm sitting. So I kind of hope that there's not like glass shards getting in my shoes, because I think it's on the carpet where my shoes currently are, but it's okay. And then I also spilt my entire cup of coffee inside my lunch pail, which was kind of weird. So that's actually drying right now. So that is why I'm enjoying a green apple flavored beverage today. Okay, so per usual, I have my Vogue Runway app open. We have our notes already. So I'm pretty excited to just dive in. Again, we're going to be talking about McQueen's Fall 06 ready-to-wear collection called The Widows of Culloden. So let's begin. Okay, so Alexander McQueen. So he was no stranger to the macabre, and this show especially takes a lot of thematic elements of like really negative things like war and loss. Let's see what else I wrote. War, loss, and the supernatural. So all things that you don't really consider influenced by fashion, but that's just who McQueen was. He's able to transform these negative themes and create something that's beautiful. So this show in particular, this wasn't just a fashion show. This was so much more. It's almost like a ghost story come to life on the runway. It's like a mini psychological historical horror. It's some kind of horror cinematic masterpiece that McQueen made. So McQueen was no stranger to blurring the lines in between really beautifully meshing horror and beauty. Thinking about that, it really reminds me of The Secret History by Donna Tartt. There's a quote and it says, "Death is the mother of beauty, and what is beauty? Terror." And look at this. I got it engraved on a dagger. Isn't that cool? I feel like McQueen would like this, so we'll put this here to the side for further McQueen inspiration, further horror / beauty inspirational elements, really. Okay, we'll put the dagger aside. We're moving past that. Back to the show. So where did all of these dark, thematic, basically inspirations come from? And why did McQueen feel the need to tell such a depressing story through his fashion? So this is what we're going to dive into next. So I wanted to talk about the historical implications. So the Widows of Culloden, it's actually a deeply personal collection for McQueen because he is of Scottish heritage, and the Widows of Culloden is inspired from the Battle of Culloden in 1746. So do you think in 1746, when they were running around with, muskets or whatever it is that they used back then, maybe bows and arrows, I bet they weren't even thinking about high fashion in the sense of having a ghost Kate Moss on the runway. So I would say that's pretty good. Not the battle, but the inspiration that McQueen took inspiration from something that wasn't really supposed to be fashionable. Because how would you, I don't know, I feel like that just shows his creative geniusness. Because why would you even think like, oh, this battle from the 1700s, like I'm going to make a fashion show based around this? Who thinks of something like that? That just shows his artistic ingenuity and innovation, and we love him for that. We love McQueen very much. Okay, so in this battle, it was very unfortunate. A lot of Scots perished by the hands of the British Army, and thus it left behind many widows. So their husbands had died in war, and it kind of just left like ravages of this town, unfortunately. So what was left behind, basically the aftermath of this Battle of Culloden, it's that the widows, they became this symbol of grief, of tragedy, but at the same time, resilience in the way that they kept going. They didn't have any choice. I mean, they just kept on going. So we do see those symbols throughout this collection. Again, grief, tragedy, resilience. So when I'm looking at my little Vogue runway, it's like the little details that you see. So I think on the surface level, the Scottish heritage is very clear and prevalent. I'm looking at look number 24 right now. You see that red tartan. Look 25, she has that little like classic Scottish cap. I don't know what those are called. It's like a beret, but it's not like a French version of a beret. It's like a Scottish version of a beret. It's very chic. It's absolutely chic, but it's like the one that the bagpipe players play, I think. And then again, we see those same tartan. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I'm going to be honest. I've only read it so many times. And you would think after working in retail for all this time, being a fashion major, I would know how to pronounce tartan, but I don't. And you know what? I'm going to be transparent and honest with you guys because that's what we do here on this channel. We practice transparency and honesty. Okay. So anyways, when we look closely at the collection though, you see there's all of these black dresses. So we see look 41, look 43, 44, 45, 46. It's these dark black like mourning dresses, which were popularized by Queen Victoria. And that kind of became like the symbol of like when you're grieving, when you're mourning, you wear all black. You wear these black dresses. You wear veils covering your face. And again, we do see a veil covering the face of look 47, but it's in this very avant-garde way and an appearance that she's almost wearing a wedding dress. So it's a really stark contrast between the black mourning gowns and like the idea of a wedding dress. That's where the widows come in. It's definitely, it's telling a story. And even the silhouettes and the drapery of it, it's like worn in, but in a really beautiful and luxe way. Like when you look at the clothes, it's like these dusty hues, like in look 49, like that color purple, it almost looks as if it was supposed to be like a creamy color that was just worn with age and it became like a slightly discolored. Even the same thing with, let's see, here we are back on look 47. It's like a wedding dress, but it's like the wedding dress that like your grandma might have in her attic that's kind of been aged. So like it's not really white anymore. It's more of like a yellowish cream, but you still know it's supposed to be a wedding dress. Aside from just the mourning clothes, we do see slightly distressed fabrications that are meant to look like worn in, a little bit aged. Let's see, we see it here on look number 24. So the skirt, it's like the ruffling is like unhemmed. That's what I'm trying to say. It's an unhemmed, it's a raw hem, which almost gives it this really like distressed, aged, old look, like a ghost. Does that make sense? Like a ghost, like because like I don't know. A ghost, I don't think would wear like modern day clothes. And I know that, well, I don't know, but I assume McQueen was trying to give off the impression of like a aged and worn and kind of lived in from the 1700s look of attire. That's something that like you would see a ghost if you could see a ghost. I'm talking a lot about ghosts because I'm really trying to lead up to the very final look, the most powerful look, which is by our queen, Kate Moss, look number 52. I think we need to talk about this look for a second because it is so ethereal and intriguing and like enchanting. So basically there's a glass prism, no, a glass pyramid. And inside of it are lights creating a hologram of Kate Moss in this just billowy, ethereal chiffon dress that gives her the illusion as if she is like an apparition, a supernatural being on the runway. How magical is that? Really and truly, when we talk about horror and fashion, I mean, that's something that's just like, I don't think that it had ever been done to that level, especially utilizing technology in that sense on the runway. And keep in mind, this was back in 06, so this is before we had, you know, like some of the technology that we have today. So basically he made a hologram of Kate Moss, made it to look as if she was like a spectral being, an apparition, a ghost on the runway. And that is so insanely cool. Like I would love to see a runway show of ghosts, holograms, if you may. Really and truly just, I think it shows his innovative geniusness and how much he really loved the craft of what he was doing. That this wasn't just slapping clothes on models and calling it a day. Like this was really and truly somebody that was passionate and knew their craft. While we're talking about horror, I think that it's important to add that it's like McQueen added this, just like he curated this like chilling atmosphere for this show. His models were walking silently, like almost as if they looked like they were floating. Like it wasn't like a horror through like gore or like jump scares. It was just this like horror of like the unknown, you know, of like absence, loss, like the true unseen, like a ghost. So I've always found it interesting. I know that when I was studying for my bachelor's degree, that was my final paper that I had written, was the importance of fashion in horror. And I had predominantly focused on fashion that was within horror films. So I know American Psycho was one of the main ones that I focused on. Interview with a Vampire, The Shining, and just the use of costume design to bring these horror movies to life. And I think one reason why I'm so drawn to this show by McQueen is because it's essentially the exact opposite. He's creating this cinematic masterpiece out of something that is just usually looked at as like materialistic or just clothing. Like he truly transformed it into this art, into a whole experience. And I think something about that is so just special. Like there's not another word for it. It's so special, and McQueen was so talented and gifted at his craft. Like honestly, just like a designer gone too soon. Really, really unfortunate about his ultimate demise. So I do think overall McQueen's work, he consistently is living at the intersection of beauty and horror. He's challenging the norm, basically breaking out of the mold that fashion has to be purely aesthetics and it has to be what looks, you know, the most aesthetically pleasing on a model, in the sense that he really wanted to tell a story. And I think that this show accurately conveys the story that he's trying to tell, and not like an overly campy way. Like it's not really in your face. I feel like it's in the small details, like the textures that he used. Like all of the chiffon creates a very ethereal, flowy look. I think that like the blood red tartan shows the just like the war and the loss, and just it's little details like that I think he really was an innovator of his time, and that even still to this day we see his influence in our current day designers. I don't think he'll ever not be one of the most influential fashion designers. I mean, he just completely, he pushed the boundaries of what fashion can be and what makes fashion a storytelling experience, what makes it a personal experience for a designer. So all in all, I love this show. I think that this show is so intensely captivating and just exudes just like raw emotion and true storytelling. So I am excited that I was able to share just a little short tidbit with you guys. Just glad I was able to ramble off my thoughts about it. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.